Good morning. Oh, see, I dropped my notebook. That's how we start this morning. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's having a great morning. We just got done with the holiday with friends, family. Hopefully everybody ate a lot because I certainly did. Ate too much that you kind of lose track of what's up and what's going on. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for your continued support and for always rocking with us, for believing in our content, number one, because it's the subs that make us and get us to where we're at, right? So I appreciate everyone who has continuously supported us, and also our mods out here. I hope everyone had a great, I was going to say New Year's, but it's not New Year's. It feels like New Year's, but it's 4th of July. I'm not a fan of fireworks, but of course that we're going a little bit crazy. Oh, look at this. We have New York in the house. Shout out to you and anyone else out there. All right, so we're going to get started. And this is going to be an interesting rabbit hole when it comes to Masika, which, by the way, she's a beautiful woman. I remember, I think the first time we ever saw her, at least publicly, was through the Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, when she was having the love triangle with Molly Mall and Miss Nikki Baby. So that was an interesting dynamic. But one thing I have always loved about Masika is her comebacks are just like iconic. I don't know, like she could just quickly think on her feet, which is why I'm just like, shouting and rooting for her and whatever other adventure, business and whatnot goes on. So I wanted to start by showing you this picture, okay? Because she released a CD that was produced by Molly Mall. She released it July 2nd. It dropped. I actually listened to the single, and I was a little bit taken back because one thing about Molly Mall, and I don't know how much everyone might know, but we're going to go back a little bit in time. We'll do a little recap. Molly Mall got in trouble recently, right, in Vegas for the trafficking ring. There was a huge trafficking ring, and he was basically implemented, but he's always been in some level of ring. Like there's something always has been going on with this guy, and I never quite understood it. And so then one of the things that really concerned me, especially with Masika, is that him producing this single for her. But before I get ahead of myself, I'm going to take us back. We're going to recap to not too far out, but at least to make things and put some timelines into things for this content today. Okay. I'm going to take it as slow as I can because part of it was that it kind of, I'm about dates. So chronologically, I had to put things together so things would make sense. And you will all see and know why. All right. So let's get started with the first clip, and hopefully everybody will join us, and we'll be able to catch on as we're moving through. All right, let's get started. Ooh. Let's remove this picture. My bad, guys. Oh, here we go. I gotta hurry up, guys. Guys. I got beat up. I don't know how much time I have. I got beat really bad. And they're coming. They said that you guys have to leave me tips and follow me so they can take the money, or they're not gonna let me go. They beat me really bad. Guys, please help. Tip me $100 each, or they're not letting me go.
Hey guys, now that I got your attention, I wanted to talk about something very important. I'm sorry if I scared you, but sometimes you need that shock factor. I'm on set right now filming for my new show, and this is all camera makeup. I'm totally fine, guys, but the show that I am on right now is about child sex trafficking. And this is a very challenging role for me because this is something that I am very passionate about. And, and shooting this show, I've done a lot of research and I've had to dig deep. And I just, found out things that I never wanted to know about this issue. I have to make it short because I got to go on set, but I've joined forces with the R.O.S.E organization. I need you guys to follow them. They are doing great things to rescue children and women that have been sex trafficked. And I'll be posting a lot more about this. And yes.
Hey, Monty, we're ready.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever
Okay.
you're ready.
All right, I'm coming right now. So guys, I have to get back on set, but I, as a mother, this is something that it's hard for me to even really speak about. But again, I apologize if I scared you guys, but please, please, please follow the R.O.S.E organization for more information on how we can put an end to child sex trafficking, women being sex trafficked. Guys, I meant well, so I hope I hope no one's too shaken up, but y'all should know me by now. There's always a method to my madness. Love you, gotta go.
Doing a scene or something, saying that it was for my organization, and I thank her for the support, but I did not approve of that video. I will not, and my organization will not be receiving money or accepting donations from OnlyFans or Fans Only or whatever it's called. Last night, that video, from what I'm understanding, that was done, it triggered a lot of people. I had a lot of people in my DMs. I had a lot of people, asking me questions about it, asking, am I partnering with her? No, R.O.S.E is mine. It kind of pissed me off a little bit, because this is my life work. This is what I do. This is what I do day in. And she mentioning R.O.S E, but no, that was not the right way to do it. She actually triggered me a little bit. I had to get my mind right and get myself together. But no, in no way, shape, or form is Masika the spokesperson for R.O.S E. No way, shape, or form are we accepting money from OnlyFans, Fans Only, whatever the hell it is. No, R.O.S E is my organization.
So everybody on here know about what happened with the video, and I can honestly say we are still doing our internal investigation to find out what's going on and what happened. As you all know, and I've stated to Masika when we talked, I did not know. I wasn't in the loop of anything that was going on. I very much hate that Masika lost her job in doing this, because actually the show could have been on, and she could have been on the show actually helping me to prevent a lot of sex trafficking and brought awareness more to the organization and to what I'm doing out here. Um, in any way, shape, or form, I did not try to bash Masika. I wanted to make sure that I let her know that, just as well as she let me know that. We apologize, and I can say it right here. I am sorry if that is like for you losing your job and for all the other stuff. But as I said on the call, I repeat, I did not give permission. I did not know. And we both was in the dark. We both was in the dark.
Well, I definitely appreciate you, even reaching out. That takes a lot of, especially with all the drama that's happened, it takes a very strong woman to do that. And, unfortunately, just like I said, you were shocked. I was shocked when I saw your video because, there, of course, there's people in the middle that connected the dots. And that's, I think, what kind of made us both realize, oh, wow. So she didn't do this maliciously, and she didn't do this maliciously. So I accept your apology, and I apologize
we both were unaware of the other things that occurred. But I think we both had the same intentions and the
Yeah.
same goal. And, for that, it's not worth it for me to try to come at you or you to try to come at me when the goal is to make sure we can get these children and these women, free. So how are we gonna be arguing when the bigger picture is let's put it into what's really going on that really
What's really
matters.
going on? Yeah. And I want this to show that.
So shout out to Miss Tony Rivera. Number one, that lady is a phenomenal lady. She has a wonderful organization, right? Bringing awareness to human trafficking being such a big issue in the community. I mean, she's out in the streets making sure that kids are found, that families are connected. But one of the things that I bring up, OnlyFans, it's because as of recent, it's made it to let me go back a little bit. Sorry. Let's see, here we go. To the National Center of Sexual Exploitation. It's one of the major contributors. It's made it to a list for that now. So now what we're dealing with, there was an official letter written back in February of this year where they wrote a letter to the CEO of OnlyFans, basically saying that OnlyFans knowingly facilitates the prostitution, sex trafficking of children, and hardcore porn, sexual abuse, and exploits, and they do very, very minimal to try to check IDs, make sure kids are of age to even be part of this website. And I'm not really sure how big this made it to the media that OnlyFans actually landed on that list. Okay. Now, mind you, going back a little bit where Masika was doing her fake human trafficking plea, if you guys remember, she had said, sign up to my OnlyFans. You just have to drop $100. And then Miss Tony was like, no, we don't work with those people, whatnot. They've squashed and that they've clarified that Masika did lose a lot of jobs because of this stunt. So it looks like there was a big misunderstanding. Someone received an email, that has been done and squashed. But one thing that came up to mind as we were thinking about down the rabbit hole is the thing about OnlyFans and how often this thing kind of gets dismissed. Now, how this then connects to Molly Mall, I'm going to show you guys. And also how then Masika continued to work with Molly Mall, even though the affiliation was there. Okay. I'm going to show you another clip. All right. And so then here is the official letter. As I said, I would have it here. Okay. They have this list of people, of organizations that promote human trafficking, exploitation, and trauma, and they don't do anything about it. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not really sure if OnlyFans has addressed the situation or whatnot, but this letter exists. It's out there. Feel free to look it up, Google it, you will find it there. But now I'm going to show you another clip. And this one is a little bit disturbing. It's going to show you how deep the rabbit hole is for Molly Mall. Okay, and let's get started now.
That's defense attorney Janice Marshall last April when she first appeared on behalf of convicted pimp Ocean Fleming. 10 months and many hearings later, she's written enough briefs to fill a bookshelf. Fleming is hardly the first convicted felon to claim he was set up by police, but the scenario he described about the detectives who put him away seemed too outlandish to be believable.
You got a cop, involved in a sexual relationship with one of the victims. Then he's involved in a sexual relationship at the same time with the prosecutor. Not to mention at this time, you married. So, in all actuality, you got more females in the courtroom than me.
Fleming is one of more than a dozen witnesses known to have been interviewed by the FBI since the first hint of its public corruption investigation, a 2014 raid on the Las Vegas home of music producer and escort service kingpin Jamal Rashid, better known as Molly Mall. In her latest motion, Janice Marshall outlines the complicated plot that is believed to parallel the one being pursued by federal agents, notably that star vice detective Chris Boffman, his partner partner R.O.S E and other detectives cooperated in an ongoing criminal conspiracy with Molly Mall, in which the police allegedly used their badges and authority to take down Molly Mall's competitors in the lucrative Las Vegas sex industry. The motion alleges that Molly Mall made monthly cash payments to officers, that he supplied prostitutes to cops, that he had the police target rival pimps, including Ocean Fleming, that police and lead prosecutor Deputy DA Liz Mercer coached witnesses so they could level more serious charges, such as kidnapping. Mercer, the prosecutor, was having an affair with Boffman, the cop, and the two are now married. Because of that conflict, the DA's office had to recuse itself, and defense attorney Adam Gill was appointed as special prosecutor in the appeal of Ocean Fleming and another pimp serving life, Raymond Sharp. Along the way, attorneys for Metro have opposed several attempts at discovery, and former Detective Boffman was deposed but took the fifth on scores of questions. Now, Marshall has obtained phone records of contacts between Boffman and Molly Mall in and around the time of Fleming's trial. Hundreds of minutes of conversations between the cop and the escort kingpin, chats which dropped off dramatically after Fleming was convicted and sentenced. Marshall has also sought phone records for Boffman's partner, R.O.S E, and wants to depose out-of-state witnesses, including Molly Mall.
Federal charges have been filed against a Las Vegas nurse suspected of being involved in an interstate prostitution ring.
The indictment of Julie Blevins was unsealed in Southern California, but the trail leads right back to Las Vegas and is likely the first criminal charges to be filed in connection with an FBI investigation of police corruption.
Yeah, Team's George Knapp is here with this exclusive story. George.
You know, nothing in this indictment of Julie Blevins mentions prostitution or corruption or vice cops. In fact, you have to wade through mountains of corporate filings to find a connection between Blevins and her former boss, escort service kingpin Molly Mall. But it's there, which means this is likely the first criminal charge to be brought in the long and complicated FBI investigation.
But I had heard before this one was unsealed that there were actually two females that had worked for Molly Mall that had been indicted.
Defense attorney Janice Marshall says the news about sealed indictments in the FBI's Vice Cop investigation first surfaced via the prison grapevine. Her client, Ocean Fleming, is serving a life sentence after being busted years ago by star vice detective Chris Boffman and his pimp enforcement team. Fleming has always claimed he was targeted by Boffman because a small number of vice cops were working for a rival in the sex trade, escort service owner Jamal Rashid, better known as Molly Mall.
And to know that the cops were taking money to set him up and that these cops are still walking around while he's been in prison for 8 years, and that Molly Mall, who set him up, that he hasn't served any time, hasn't done anything. So yeah, he's watching everything.
It's been 4 years since the Public Integrity Unit of the FBI raided Molly Mall's Las Vegas home. Since then, agents have interviewed dozens of witnesses, including Ocean Fleming and possibly Molly Mall himself, but no charges have been filed, at least not in Nevada. However, an indictment recently unsealed in California accuses a longtime Nevada woman, Julie Blevins, of multiple felony counts. Blevins was caught with 67 credit and debit cards that belonged to other people, along with 1,500 pieces of allegedly stolen mail. Blevins, whose married name is Wasserman, worked as a nurse in Las Vegas for the past 5 years. Before that, she spent 12 years as general manager of an LLC that oversaw 15 corporate entities, all of them owned by Molly Mall. The FBI suspects those companies were fronts for prostitution, and in that industry, fake and stolen credit cards are commonly used. Marshall says the identity theft charges could be a way to get Blevins to cooperate in a case against Molly Mall, or more likely as a way to pressure Molly Mall into testifying against the police officers who allegedly accepted cash and sexual favors as payment for busting Molly Mall's competitors.
It's not unusual what we see unfolding. It's just taken a long time to unfold.
Come in. We got this fool running around here, Molly Mall, and we all know who Molly Mall is. You know, me and him was like brothers, bro. We ate together, we slept together.
I was just about to say, I thought that was your man.
Yeah, he is, bro. Well, he was. But you got to understand something. Okay, this is how it all went down. Once I got arrested, okay, one of the victims against me was April. Okay, now trip off this. Once I get arrested, Detective Bachman gets a hold of April. Now what he is aligned with Molly Mall. They friends. Remember on the first one by George Knapp on 11/10/16, they reported that Detective Bachman's daughter calls him Uncle J. Now it's nowhere in the world that the detective's daughter would call you Uncle J unless y'all was close. Now I'm gonna get back to that, but this is what happened. Detective Bachman got his hands on April. He takes her to Jamal, okay, who then hooks her up at his service. Now she working. I'm out the way. They're sharing her. I'm out the way. They move her to New York, whatever the case may be. I don't know. But this is what I'm saying right here. All that was in play. They fly her back out here 2 days before my trial, and boom, she testifies. So this is how it goes. We got Molly Mall, who met Detective Bachman through Detective Warren Gray, who works at Metro's Organized Crime. Now, he crooked as a motherfucker, too. This fool was selling motherfucking, well, I don't want to cuss on your podcast, bro, but this individual was selling department secrets, bro, for money. You feel me? And this is how it goes down. Molly Mall, bro, nobody knows this. All these rappers, everybody's still hanging with this fool, and don't nobody know, and I'm exposing him. He's a rat. Point blank, period. The boy's a rat, man. He's been a confidential informant for Detective Warren Gray since '08, bro. A lot of people been getting busted around here. It's been because of this fool right here, homie, running his mouth to these people. And that's where the link come in. You feel what I'm saying? And that's how Warren Gray is the one that introduced him to Detective Bachman. He in with him. He in with the in crowd. If you think about
Ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know, this is the voice of Ocean Fleming.
I call you from Indian Springs, homie. The
Indian
life was wrong. I'm
Springs.
talking about in the penitentiary. This ain't no county jail. This is where it's going down at, homie. You feel me? I'm in the penitentiary. But see, this is what I'm trying to tell you right here, though. He is in with the boy. You notice, I go to jail. Wheelchair Mike go to jail. Everybody's going to jail except him. And why is that, bro? It's only one reason why. And we all know it. And I just told you what it was, homie. He ain't no good. Straight up. And that's just the way it is. Why you think the FBI investigation was no longer with Metro's investigation? They separated because they figured it out. Somebody is telling this fool, we all on him. And he always getting away. Not only that, I don't condone that. I can't condone that. You feel me? You're a confidential informant for Detective Warren Gray, bro. I can't condone that. Oh, that's going against everything I believe in.
And right now, you have absolute proof that he's a confidential informant.
Man, I swear to God, on everything I love, man, it's audio of these fools chopping it. It's pictures of these fools meeting up together, bro. You feel me? Why would you be meeting with a detective? Why would you be chopping it with one if you on the up and up? You feel me? This fool giving me the runaround stories about, I don't know Bachman, and I don't know this fool. I just met him here, or they pulled me over.
Molly Mall told you he didn't know Chris Bachman?
Yeah, homie, that's what he tried to tell me at first. He told me they just pulled him over and raped him. No, that don't happen. His daughter don't call you Uncle Jamal if he just pulls you over. You don't know him. It don't happen like that. You feel me? I ain't a fool. You think I made billions because I'm a fool? No, bro, it don't happen like that. You feel me? It'll never happen like that. And that's what I'm telling you. So I know his get out, and he know I know.
Right now, is there anyone that you upset with?
No, I'm not upset, homie. I'm not holding no malice in my heart, no larceny or ill will towards anybody. You feel me? On the simple fact that I know. If this is what I do know for a fact. We could take Jessica, April, and Brittany, bro. The individuals that stood up on their stand and raised their right hand against me. And I guarantee you, every one of them will say that Detective Bachman, in one way or another, coerced him into doing that, homie. And Liz Mercer told them what to say. You feel me? As far as whatever they had to say negative about me, they was coached in the Senate. I'm willing to bet you they would say that because that's the truth. These individuals ain't right, bro. And
Woo, that was a lot, wasn't it? It was a lot of information. I thought it was interesting because And I'm going to show you another clip, but this one's not going to have sound. So Molly Mall, being the big kingpin pimp of Vegas, right? He wanted to take his competitors down. So what does he do? He aligns himself with the police, okay, with this detective. This detective is fooling around with this DA, okay? And the DA, I mean, it's all working in his favor. But Ocean Fleming and all the other people around him were not aware of what Molly Mall was doing. Okay, so a lot of people were set up as being, doing different things, breaking different laws, but the one person they couldn't charge was Molly Mall, right? The main person. They couldn't figure it out until they figured out that he was either connected or running or basically collaborating with the Vegas PD. Okay, so then when it comes to the RICO charges, I mean, they weren't even looking at that. They were trying to figure out, well, how come we can't get into Molly Mall and he's the main one? Well, because he's been protected. And that's right. All of this has been happening since 2008. Okay, I'm going to show you a timeline of all this information, because what I found to be interesting is when Molly Mall hit the media, it was just about Molly Mall. It wasn't about this whole conspiracy theory with the Vegas PD. There was a quote that someone made on a different platform that said, Vegas PD is the most dirtiest, corrupt place ever. That's what they said. And it made me wonder, especially when people are trying to bring charges, why they're not able to bring charges. But this is just a portion of that. So I'm going to credit To Real TV. You guys go check out that clip, that phone call. He did an interview with Ocean Fleming. He's going to give you a lot more details about Molly Mall, about these detectives, about what went down during that time. And this is the crazy part. This clip was released 4 years ago. Okay, so Ocean Fleming had been talking a long time about Molly Mall's dealings, and no one was doing anything, or maybe they were, but they were investigating silently. I'm just thinking, like, why they waited so long. But I'm going to show you a timeline of another clip, and this one's not going to have audio, okay? And this is just going to show us a little bit of like how long this guy has been running the way he has been in Hollywood. So back in 2014 is Twitter. We had a lot of tweets about Molly Mall, his home being looked at, being charged, being accused of human trafficking. This was coming up a lot. Here's another, 2019 clip. But the timeline here between 2014 and 2019, this is not new information. And so I find it interesting that people, either reality stars or Hollywood, would align themselves, because mind you, he was producing music for Tyga, Justin Bieber, a lot of big I even think French Montana and him collaborated at one point. So this is not new news with him and his dealings, okay? But we're going to go into this clip, give us some timelines of this. Here we go. He's being investigated. This was back in 2014. This is when he was in Love and Hip Hop and he had appeared. Another clip in 2019 where he was being investigated. This is what it looked like when his home was raided. Okay? Another clip of that. Isn't this interesting that, look at this clip right here. Backpage officials actively advertise his victims for him. Now producer and rapper Molly Mall pleads guilty to illegal prostitution ring. This was back in 2019. This is that website, Backpage, right? The one that had to do a lot of fixes because of the prostitution and advertisement. So he was advertising people on this website. And Backpage had problems before. We're going to keep it going. Now, let's see. This is a clip of Masika and Molly Mall in 2020. So he had produced her single, right? And you'll find this on her Instagram page where they're together collaborating. Matter of fact, somebody had put a comment in there. Somebody go get Miss Nikki Baby. Now, Miss Nikki Baby and him fell out. I believe there was some revenge porn leaked because of him. So it was a pretty bad breakup between those two, right? But to me, Masika seems very unbothered at this point. You know, he's producing my music. He already pled guilty. I mean, in 2019, he's accused of prostitution. It doesn't really faze her at this point, right? But yet, you want to represent the R.O.S.E Foundation. The fallout happened in 2020, right? So this is the piece that doesn't quite make a lot of sense for me. And this is her narrative. And there's the date right there that says May 22nd of 2020 when they were working together. So what I found interesting between these two is that if you know, or at least maybe you feel like it's okay because it's your friend, then, and you know, how do we move on? And how do you represent an agency when you're having some level of dealings with someone that has been charged with human trafficking, with sex trafficking? Here is an interesting part too. Molly Mall has an OnlyFans as well. And his last post was June 29th of 2020. So I'm not saying he recruited people from here, but at this point, I mean, it would be easy. You have the page there, right? I don't know if that's been looked at or anything. And then here's someone's comment, and I'm going to say allegedly. This person said, Masika dating Molly Mall and was helping him find a place in LA. Sounds like prostitution to me. Hashtag love and hip hop. And this was posted December 18th of 2020. Now that's allegedly, right? So there is a news reporter who has been she's been following Molly Mall, right? Vegas initially posted this media release saying that they had sentenced him for basically, the prostitution, that he owned businesses and named them differently, right? As we seen on that video news clip, okay? And that he exploited hundreds of victims, independent contractors who turned over to Jamal, a portion of what they earned through prostitution, priority girls who turned over nearly all of the proceeds from prostitution to Jamal, aka Molly Mall, okay? And he admitted to manipulating the victims, imposing rules, and threatening them so that they would prostitute for him. And he would encourage victims to get tattoos of him to demonstrate the loyalty and led many to believe him that they would advance their careers because of him. Okay. He pleaded guilty in October 2019. And this is the media release from the city of Vegas. Okay. Let's move on. Now, I'm going to show you some of these other documents that are a little bit more official. This is the court document. So this court document, this is all public information. Feel free to search it. 11 or from 11 to 17. This is what I thought was interesting. It's giving us timelines that basically say that from April 2002 and about September 2014, the defendant owned and operated businesses in Clark County, Nevada. Okay. And he made them look like they were legal businesses. He named them various VIP Entertainment, LCC. Okay. So they have various names. And he carried out an unlawful prostitution business through these escort businesses. Okay. So it gives us those timelines right there. Now, on the next clip on this document, it's really going to give us some timelines. Here it talks about the alleged victims, okay, or not even alleged, the victims, because he did plead guilty. There are victims here. I want you to think about when Love and Hip Hop came up, what the women that he was dealing with, the people that he was probably around that could have been around these women that, could have reached out, could have helped, could have questioned, and nothing happened. You're talking about somebody that has been running something between 2002, 2008, very early on. Okay. So here you have like someone, for example, let me see. Letter C, on March 6, 2008, defendant persuaded, induced, entice, and caused victim 3 to travel from Portland, Oregon to Vegas. So people were traveling. Women were traveling, okay, under these businesses. And all of this was wrapped up in under the knowledge of Vegas PD. A nurse was involved. Other nurses were involved. People were involved. There's so many people involved in this. Okay. And nobody said anything. And then we have websites like OnlyFans, right? That will promote, you can promote yourself. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be salacious, right? But mainly a lot of people go to OnlyFans for that purpose. A lot of them do. They go there to promote what they're doing, their businesses. And it sounds like it's a very easy access. People can go in there. I mean, I had to sign one up just to find Molly Mall. Now, mind you, I canceled it because, Rabbit on OnlyFans, I don't think so. So I'm bringing this to share that even though, congratulations to Masika on her CD release, seriously, but then it makes me wonder, how proud are you that Molly Mall produced it at this point, right? You got to think about the impact that this music producer has had, right? So if he went, I'm not digging the man on his talent, okay? But we are completely bypassing victims, right? By supporting things like this. And like I said, this has nothing to do with Masika and her look. She's a beautiful woman, okay? But at the same time, this rabbit hole, it went from A to B to C. It was going pretty deep. Okay. And there's so many people involved and so many victims. And Ocean Fleming, even though he was also a pimp, he sang like a canary in jail. Okay. And he'd been singing for the last 6 years and no one cared to even look into it. It wasn't until someone said, well, how come we can't get a hold of Molly Mall, who's the kingpin? You have all these victims that are coming and no one is pinpointing to Molly Mall. Well, that's because the cop is your friend. Doesn't this just sound like Training Day at this point? I swear I was thinking in my mind, this sounds like Training Day, where you have a cop that looks great in the outside, very great record, great accolades, right? But then as you're peeling the onion, corrupt as a mother. This is how it is, right? Yeah, I'm looking at the comments. Let me remove this. It says Masika is a lot of things bad, trying to hold on. Yeah, I mean, and I get it. She's a very talented woman. I just don't know if this is her area, right? And I don't know if it was a good look to even go with Molly Mall at this point. At this point, people should really try to sever ties because he did plead guilty. He knows he caused victims in the industry. And there was a lot of people in there involved. A lot of people got involved in one way or another. I felt like Love and Hip Hop promoted prostitution. Women were they were promised careers and they couldn't sing or rap, but they were very sexual, right? Yes, please hit that like button. I think I might have. As you were pick up your jaw from the floor. Is your jaw on the floor? I mean, this is a pretty deep rabbit hole. As you can see, we were just debating which one should go first. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Now I'm going to say allege. Okay. This is where I'm really going to be careful about my words on this one. I had been looking at the French Montana situation. Okay. Now, French Montana, there's a lot of pictures out there with French Montana and Molly Mall. Now, that doesn't mean that they are intertwined or anything, but it makes me wonder that French Montana has a civil case currently, and there are victims or quote unquote alleged victims that have not been able to pursue charges criminally. And this all happened in Vegas. It makes me wonder if there's anything that touches that rabbit hole as well. Hence why I wanted to show you this one first before I went into that other next video that we have. And I'm going to look into it a little bit more. I don't know if I'm going to show it yet, but I will show it this week because we got more information from Kayla Rosa Direct, alleged victim. But I think it's interesting, and she says it in there. I would not be surprised if the rabbit hole goes deeper there than anywhere else, allegedly. Okay? Although alleged doesn't really protect you from anything. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this confusing rabbit hole. I know I had to step back and make sure I went one way to the other just to confirm the information, because it's a lot of information, right? It's a lot of information. I'm just curious. Yeah, they're undermining women's feelings. I was just on Bishop's page, and he, of course, agrees with Judge Joe Brown about Bill Cosby. I was like, I knew Bishop was a hypocrite. Well, I don't want to say that, but Judge Joe Brown doesn't. Judge Joe Brown, I think, is a different generation, just like Bill Cosby is. And I think that they are making a plea and a case for that generation. And a lot of us here, we're from a different generation too. I think we're also, like, if you're a millennial, I'm a millennial. I am clashing with a lot of the cancel culture because I don't always agree with it. But I do agree that the industry makes a lot of victims. You can't tell me that OnlyFans, out of all the pages, and again, this is not a dig at Masika, because she did pay for everything. She lost some jobs because of that fake thing, right? But you can't tell me that you're going to go out and support, human trafficking and the R.O.S.E organization and have people donate to OnlyFans. Okay. And now we know that OnlyFans has been put on a list where if somebody says they're, fighting for human trafficking and they're asking you to donate to OnlyFans, I would probably scale back a little bit and find out, because like I said, it's a lucrative platform, and it's a platform where a lot of people don't know what they're getting into, and it's making victims, right? Versus helping them out. So I just, again, shout out to you guys on the chat for being patient with me, for following me on this rabbit hole. For me, it was even confusing. I was like, wait a minute, I lost myself, guys. I had to scale it back a bit. But I hope it made sense, and I was able to put things as far as content together. Chronologically, the dates have make sense to me. And now I wonder if this rabbit hole is some way, somehow connected to French Montana. I don't know, allegedly. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Shout out to everyone on the chat, to my mods. Thank you so much for your patience, your support, and thank you for rocking with the rabbits. The rabbits are here, and we're here to stay. Rabbits out.